I don't know if you heard, but this is breaking news. The film just won an audience award at South by.
David Gordon Green texted me at lunch because his show just won the audience award too. So he was like, "Hey, dude, we just both won, and we're about to start making a movie together." So
Awesome.
yeah, so I just came from Boston where we're in prep, and so he's like, "I hope everything's going well at the junket, but you just won the audience award," and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool."
Just got a little better, the junket.
Yeah, yeah, and it's even better hearing it from David Gordon Green, so it's perfect.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
You know, this character is a pretty intense guy, and it seems like the latest in a string of pretty intense roles for you. I mean, what is it like for you as an actor? What does it do to you personally when you're kind of in this headspace, this intense headspace, for so many years in a row?
Well, as an actor or as a person? I mean, I think it's yeah. Sometimes, you know, you're in the real world, learning about it. You're preparing, and you're in the space that is actually the real world, not the movie world where you're making it. And you're in the energy in the space that sometimes can be kind of tough to sort of explore. And it does affect you. I mean, it does. I mean, all the roles in the past few years have definitely affected my life and who I am as a person. It's definitely changed my perspective on the world at large, for good or not. And I'm grateful for that. You know, I really am. But it does sort of take a toll, even just energetically. You know, like you got to put a lot into a space, and I want to. So, a role like this, though, to me, was about kind of bottling up a lot of feelings as opposed to expressing them and being in space. That was the hardest for me, because you think you're acting when you're emoting, but you're not always, and you're not always doing it that well. So, but this was particularly challenging because of that.
Because he's sort of in his own world a lot of the time that we see him. So it's kind of a different kind of intensity, right?
Yeah, it was weird. I was thinking about it as I've been talking about it today, and I'm thinking about like being there, you know, and just sort of that oddity of his behavior that you people would probably try if it was released today. They'd go like, well, what was that behavior? What is he on the spectrum, you know?
Right.
And ultimately, you know, he's sort of beyond anything in that space. And I think that tragedy, in the case of this movie, tragedy or loss or grief of some kind can really bring out indefinable like personality traits and things that you never really knew, and feelings that you were never really familiar with, and awkward behavior, and not just the way we see it in movies, like, you know, weeping and crying, but a lot of feelings. There is a spectrum of feelings.
Are you similar to Davis at all?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I walk through some of my life not knowing how I feel. Some of my day is sort of lost in trying to figure out what I actually do feel. I think in that case, I think for I mean, I grew up acting, and so in my 20s, I think I was trying to follow convention more. And as I've gotten a little older, I realized, wait, I'm just gonna follow what I believe in, and you know, and that's brought me great joy and my own type of success, and I think also I also love by the end, you know, that there's a sort of sense of just being an odd guy, you know, just being sort of, and I definitely consider myself that.
Did you have any advice for Judah, who, because you grew up acting and he's just getting started? What kind of advice did you give him, and would you give to an up and coming actor?
I would never be presumptuous enough to give a young actor advice. I mean, I think at his age, I was pretty sure about everything. So, I did actually get advice from Chris Cooper when I was his age, when I was Judah's age. And Chris said to me, well, so many things, but one of the things I always remember is he just always said, we were in a scene, and he came up to me and he said, you're screaming at me. You're so excited to be in a fight in a scene because you feel like you're acting. He's like, listen to what I'm saying to you. And I remember him saying, listen to what I'm saying to you. And it's acting 101, obviously, listening. But when he came to me and he said that, I started listening, and then I actually started getting angry. And so I wasn't presumptuous enough to give him advice. But I do think he's incredibly charismatic and really talented and wonderful in this film.